Hello, welcome to another episode of Agvancements, the Minecraft series in which I try to remember how things work because I have not done this in over a year. I'm your host, Brendan Black, and I, as I mentioned, have not been on this world in quite a long time, so we're going to try to figure this out. But this is a series in which I teach all of you guys about agriculture, the different evolutions of agriculture, and how agriculture has evolved over time. I kind of like this whole starting off episodes at this table thing. Maybe I'll start doing that. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it. That was the wrong button. What just happened? Okay, there we go. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay, so if you saw the update video, you already know what we're doing today. First of all, I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things and remember how I did most of this series because it has been so long. But today is a resource collection day. We still have a dog that needs a name, so make sure you guys name him, please. Today is a resource collection day, so it's going to be a bit of a uneventful episode. Well, I shouldn't say that. If we're going to the caves, it's going to be eventful. It's just not going to be pretty. But today is a day where we're mostly going to focus on gathering resources so we can continue our series of trying to advance through the different revolutions of agriculture. We're trying to aim towards the second revolution, which we're almost there. The last couple things we need to do is build a small civilization in this area and equip them all with small farms like I have over here. Polycropping diversified farms for the most part. We're trying to get farms that are a bit more universal in what they grow, so they grow a little bit of everything. And then as we advance through the second revolution, then we'll specialize those farms. I see that our cattle have grown pretty well here. Okay, so we have a male here. He's a year old. We have a male here that's 4 days old. That must be the baby. And then this is our female who's also a year old. Okay. It might take me a little bit to remember how all this worked, especially with all the mods I have installed here. Just as a little breaking the fourth wall disclaimer as to this series, not only have I not recorded in almost a year, I have not recorded in my new apartment either, so I'm very much getting used to using my PC again because I've had my PC set up for as long as I've lived here. Well, not entirely, but as close to as long as I've lived here. But I haven't really had a lot of time to really work with it yet. So I'm trying to remind myself how everything works, all of my controls, all of my how my PC works, how my room is set up. It's been a wild year. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to travel around. We're gonna collect wood, stone, and iron for the most part, and get as much as we can of all those things, so that we can build some of these settlements, kind of like a mini village in this area. And then we're going to probably not get to any building today, but I want to kind of catch you guys up on where I have been for the last year. Okay, so let me make sure I have all my materials together. We're gonna need a few extra resources of everything, and hopefully I can survive our little expedition today. Okay, so I will come back once I have all my materials, and then we'll get ready to go. Okay, I think we're good to go. I got a couple extra shovels, a couple extra axes, a couple extra pickaxes. That should be enough to get us through our trip today. I don't have any iron armor yet, or leather armor, anything of that sort quite yet, so we're going to kind of just wing it. But I know, as I was looking through my chest, I saw we do have a ton of where's it at? A ton of stripped logs. So we do have a decent amount of wood. We also have all this wood up here if we need it, and some dirt and that sort of thing for terraforming. But the main thing I want to get today is iron, because we're going to need a lot of iron for the, especially for the second revolution as we get there. But we're going to need a lot of iron just for different materials. I want to get a bunch of coal. I want to get some stone because we don't have a whole lot of stone. And then, yeah, we're going to grab some different types of wood as well. So we're going to start off up here because there are a few different resources that have been mocking me since we first moved into this area. I'd like to grab those first. So let's grab this coal. We're gonna grab those emeralds and that iron as we start off our little expedition here. Okay, so as we're getting through this, I do want to talk a little bit about where I have been and what things have been happening in my life, just to kind of update you guys. So first of all, last time I recorded this, I actually just went back and watched the last recording I did, which for you guys just happened like a week ago. For me was back last July. It is now currently the middle of May, or I guess beginning of May, kind of. By the time you guys are seeing this, it's the middle of May. But last time I recorded this, I was just starting off a brand new job, my first teaching job. I'm still at that job. I have not left yet. They have not scared me off, which has been good. have gotten very, I'm not going to say well settled in, because as a first year teacher, you're not quite well settled in for a while. It takes some time as a teacher to really get to a point where you're comfortable with what you're doing. But I will say that I'm definitely enjoying what I'm doing. I'm having a lot of fun, building some good connections with my students, and kind of getting my classroom to a point where I like it. Still kind of finding what I, am good at, and kind of working on those things too. But definitely having a lot of fun coaching some teams. I'm managing a herd of beef cattle and students that oversee those beef cattle. That are, their projects, just a lot of cool stuff going on. And so I'm going to talk about all those things in more depth as we go along here. But yeah, that's where I've been for the past almost year now. In that time, a lot of things have changed. So not only have I started this new job and gotten fully acclimated to it, or as much as I can in my first year, I've also gone through a lot of changes at home too. So, for example, in the background, I actually don't hear him right now, which is nice, but my wife and I do have a cat, and so you'll probably hear him in the background every once in a great while. His name is Scooby. He is the biggest pain I've ever met. Not because he's actually a bad cat by any means. He's just incredibly needy, needs attention all the time. So you actually might hear his voice quite a bit in the background just because he needs someone to be watching him. So that's a new development in our life. I said wife, my fiance and I got married just a couple months ago, actually. We actually just celebrated our second month of being married, which has been really nice. So that's been going on. We got fully moved into our apartment, so now we're kind of settled into that. This is a nice little outcropping. This is kind of cool. Maybe once we get further developed and we kind of get a more established settlement going on, we can actually do something with this little area too. That'd be kind of cool. Let me grab some of this stone while I'm here. But yeah, so my wife and I, we got married. We went on our honeymoon. We went to Disneyland for a week, which was fantastic. I will say there are a few things worse than taking time off as a teacher, which sounds backwards. You think that we would appreciate the time off, and it is nice to have a break, but it's not nice coming back after a week of not being there and trying to play catch up and having to deal with what didn't happen while the sub was there and all those sorts of things. It is incredibly difficult for teachers to take time off and expect everything to be right when they come back. So that was fun to learn and adjust to and all those sorts of things. But the wedding was great. The honeymoon was great. My wife and I have been having a great time settling in at home and just kind of getting our lives started. She's getting ready to graduate with her bachelor's degree here. By the time this episode comes out, she'll have already done it. At the time of recording this, she's about 2 weeks out from getting her bachelor's, which is awesome. I'm beyond proud of her, and so that's been really, really fun. But yeah, just a lot of life stuff going on. Been trying to spend more time with my family lately. I haven't seen them a whole lot lately just because I've been so busy at work. But they've been living back in my hometown, and so I try to visit them as much as I can. My wife and I go out there. We try to go out there, once a week if we're able to. It doesn't always quite work out that way for us, but we do it whatever we can to try to make that work. I really need to eat. But yeah, just a lot of that kind of stuff going on. As far as work has been going, it's been going really, really well. There's been a lot of really cool developments in my job. I am in charge of a few different teams, and so I manage and coach some of my public speakers at the school, which has been really fun. My public speakers, they put in a ton of work, and we do some really cool stuff. They give me some really strong speeches on agriculture, which is really fun. So we've been spending a lot of time on that kind of stuff. I coach a citrus judging team, so my kids learn how to judge citrus fruit and identify some of the different defects with them. So that was really cool. We actually just had an award ceremony a couple nights ago at this point, where we actually got to talk about our teams and how they do and all that kind of stuff. And so I got to kind of brag about them a little bit and how hard of workers they are and how much fun they were to coach. So that was really fun. Those are the sorts of things that a lot of ag teachers tend to look forward to, is building those connections, having those teams, making those memories. And that was just a really good time. I really enjoyed that part of it. The classroom side of things has been really fun. It has been quite the adjustment, learning how to run my own classroom. One of the things that they don't really tell you when you're training to be a teacher is that it's way different running your own classroom compared to running somebody else's classroom. When I was a student teacher, I had a really hard time with the classroom not being mine, because I couldn't really orient it the way that I needed to make my educational style work best. And now I don't have as much of that problem. I have a lot more freedom over my classroom at my current school, which has been really, really fun. I've been really enjoying getting to set up and test and experiment with how my classroom works and what works for me and what doesn't and all those sorts of things. So just a lot of really cool stuff has been coming out of that. I'm really hoping, am I on the wrong? Oh no, it's up there. Okay. Oh shoot. Ooh, spider. Okay. One of the things I saw in the old videos that I was watching was that I need to kill a spider to get some string so I can make a bow. So let's do that real quick now that we have a spider near us. I also should probably build a shield sometime soon. There we go. Got some string. Got one. Okay, I need 2 more. I saw another spider. There he is. Okay. Okay. I also haven't played Minecraft or very many other video games over the past year, so I'm a little rusty, so don't judge me too hard for not being great at the game. I'm doing my best. But anyways, like I was talking about, learning how to set up my classroom has been really fun. I've been really enjoying that. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is learning or kind of taking notes on what worked really well this year, what didn't work well this year, and adjusting for next year. I'm already doing that right now. I'm actually developing plans for next year, how I'm going to change things with my classroom, with my teams, with my classes. And I kind of alluded to it in the little update video that I did. Oh, it's a what are you called? Bad grass. Give me a sharp leaf. No sharp leaf. Disappointment. Okay. There we go. There's one more over there, but he's surrounded by skeletons. Okay. Are these goats? These are goats. No. These are... They look like goats. Are these sheep? Sheep. Genetic animals is the worst, man. Like, it's a great mod, but I can never identify animals anymore. That makes it so hard. Okay. We'll make our way over there momentarily, once I'm not being cornered by zombies. Anyways, as I was saying, my freshman and 8th grade classes right now are going over ag technology, and they're actually learning about the revolutions of agriculture. One of the... that was rude. Okay. The spider despawned. Shoot. So yeah, so they're actually learning about the different revolutions of agriculture in class right now, which is really cool. Their assignment right now is they're making posters for each revolution of agriculture. So like there's one group doing the first revolution, like what we're in right now. There's a group doing the second revolution, where we're going. There's a group doing the third and a group doing the fourth. And I've kind of talked to them a little bit about my crazy conspiracy about the 5th revolution of agriculture. I don't remember if I've talked about it on the series or not. I'm going to talk about it again if I haven't. But the 5th revolution of agriculture is one that I'm really interested in because nobody else is talking about it. It's a section of agriculture that's like kind of being speculated, but like barely has any attention on it. And it's in my opinion a really, really interesting phenomenon because it's in my observations the only agricultural revolution that's occurring simultaneously to another agricultural revolution. So let's go through it real quick. Quick review for anyone who has not seen the first couple episodes or hasn't seen them in a while. Also a review for myself because I am reteaching this stuff right now, and so I'm relearning it myself. The first revolution of agriculture, right? The transition from hunting and gathering to settlements and established farming. That's where we're at, right? So we started off as hunter-gatherers in this series. We have our first established settlement and farm. It's a polycrop farm that will develop into a monocropped farm as we get more established. Okay. Second revolution of agriculture. These guys are so rude. The Industrial Revolution. So the use of not necessarily like heavily mechanized, but more mechanized methods of food production. So things like tractors, the steam engine, the Industrial Revolution, like how factories were produced and that sort of thing. Yeah, Second Revolution. I actually have some students, side note, I have some students at my school that watch this series. Hi guys, if you're watching, I appreciate you. That have been recommending for me to include the Create mod into this. And I might get to that point, but I've been looking through the Create mod, I've been watching videos on it, and I've experimented with it a little bit in the creative world. And while it is incredibly cool and impressive with all the things you can do, I'm not sure we're there yet. I think I might add it like when we get to the Industrial Revolution, or maybe especially when we get to like the Automated Revolution. That's definitely an area where I think we can add it. But I just don't think we're quite there in this series, so I'm not going to add it quite yet. We're going to get used to the mods that we have right now before I go add anything fancy. What is that? You guys see that down there? What is this? Is this a new flower? Oh, it's potatoes. Wild potatoes. Okay, let me grab those real quick. I forgot about like half the mods that are in this, so I find random stuff all the time, and I'm always curious about what it is. Anyways, you guys might be able to hear my cat in the background. Scooby, you're fine. Anyways, where was I? Sorry, my cat's distracted me. He's playing with the door. The third revolution, the chemical revolution, also known as the green revolution. This is where we started to first use chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and this has been one of the most impactful revolutions in agriculture. We owe a lot to the green revolution. The founder and father of the green revolution is Norman Borlaug. He, back in the 1950s, man, it's been so long since I read up on this. The 1950s, 60s, I want to say. I'll correct myself next episode if I'm wrong, but or somebody can correct me in the comments if they want to. But in the 1950s and 60s, Norman Borlaug produced some of the first. There's another spider. Some of the first writings about the importance of chemical usage in agriculture, and developed some of the earliest chemical technologies that we're able to currently use in agriculture. And so that has led way to the development of the chemical revolution, the green revolution, if you will, for the agricultural, or the third revolution of agriculture, which has enabled us to not only keep our crops safe from pests, but also to grow them much more efficiently and much more quickly. So that's been really interesting. That's actually the most recent revolution that's recognized by historians and agriculturalists. And then now we are currently in what some are considering the fourth revolution of agriculture, the automated revolution, where agricultural production is quickly and pretty effectively moving towards more automation. You're seeing things like self-driving tractors, artificially intelligent beehives, technology that is less and less demanding of manual labor. And the push for that is twofold. First of all, with the amount of people we are continuously having on this planet, our population is just booming at the moment, and will continue to boom all the way through 2050. As that's happening, we need more and more ability to produce food. And that's much more difficult to do because of a second issue, which is our severe labor shortage. So agriculture has a severe labor shortage going on right now, and I'm actually currently in the process of researching the numbers on it, so I can't share those right now. But as I get more information, I'll share those next time. But the labor shortage is actually causing us to have a severe deficit in agricultural workers. And so due to that, we are in desperate need of ability to produce food without the need for manual labor. That's where automation comes in. So the fourth revolution, the automated revolution, is one that is kind of controversial. Some people will fight you and say that it shouldn't be happening, that it's not something that we should be focusing on. We should be focusing more on trying to get people into agriculture. Some people they're saying that it's not even happening at all. That it's just it's a dream that people are actually moving towards the automated revolution. It's only a few select farmers they're actually adopting the technology because it's so expensive. And there's truth in all of those statements. I'm not going to pretend that all of those statements are false. However, it's undeniable to see that technology is becoming more and more prevalent in all life, not just agricultural life, but in agriculture as well. And so as that's happening, we are seeing a shift in the labor force, in the job requirements. Like certain jobs are requiring more of a technical knowledge than they did before. Maybe not so much of like certain types of degrees, but more certain types of like application of skills. So like being able to prove that you can do certain types of technological skills that are a little bit more new age skills compared to what we used to require out of employees. But as that's happening, you're seeing a dramatic shift in the type of technology. There's a butterfly. The type of technology being produced, which I think is really cool. And so that kind of is the cornerstone for what makes the the automated revolution a huge component of modern agriculture. And then you have my conspiracy theory of sorts, the fifth revolution of agriculture, the one that nobody is currently talking about. So it is my observation, as I've done the podcast for years now and talked to people from all around the world about this, that agriculture is going through two revolutions at the same time. And yes, they are kind of connected, but they don't necessarily have to be. So there is a huge... Ooh, let me not fall off the edge there. That's risky. Okay, I'm just going to pop down there and pop down here. Grab this iron real quick. I know everyone thought this was going to be a caving episode. I'm sorry, it's not. I'm really bad at caving and really scared of caving, and plus I knew there's a lot of iron... Is that a forest fire? That's lame. That probably means there's going to be like a bunch of debris, which is going to lead to more bad grass, which is going to lead to more problems. Anyways, we'll come back to that later. Iron. But yeah, I'm going to grab all this iron on the mountain first, and then we can go caving in a little bit. Anyways, back to my conspiracy. So I believe that simultaneous to the... Oh man, we have a lot of coal. I didn't realize how much coal we already have. Okay, we probably don't need that much more coal then. I believe that simultaneous to the automated revolution, we have what I'm calling the sustainable revolution. You could also call it the regenerative revolution, the environmental revolution, whatever you want to call it. There is a huge push now for agriculture to be environmentally friendly, to be there are standards in place, there are regulations in place, especially here in California, to have agriculture work a certain way using certain types of technology, and they're limited to the amount of emissions they're able to produce. They're limited to the type of equipment they're able to use. Small engines of a certain caliber have been restricted pretty heavily in California. The type of fuel that we use, how much of it we can use, when we can use it, the type of chemicals we can use. I mean, if you can think of a thing that we use in agriculture, it's been regulated. Like we get regulated into the ground over here, to the point where agriculture nowadays is becoming more and more environmentally friendly, not out of... I'm not going to say that the farmers don't want to be environmentally friendly necessarily. Like, they're not out there trying to actively kill turtles, but they are being forced through regulation to be more environmentally friendly, which in turn has caused a revolution of sorts in modern agricultural practices, to the point now where most modern agricultural practices are having to adopt this model now of environmental friendliness. Snails. And so that can come in a lot of different examples. So it could be things like using more advanced technology, like in the dairy industry, how we have methane digesters, huge machines that can convert methane into renewable energy, all the way down to the certain types of fuels that we use, using electric tractors over gasoline or diesel tractors, using certain types of equipment in certain capacities in ways that we haven't used them before, even down to just certain farming practices. So not so much like the materials we're using or how much of them we're using, but even so far as like how much we till. So like no-till or low-till is a somewhat newer practice that we're seeing in agriculture. It didn't used to be. This is actually a really old practice that has made a resurgence in agriculture in recent years. It's part of what's called the regenerative movement, and regenerative agriculture focuses more on soil health and maintaining a healthy relationship with the soil, and in exchange that produces a more high quality yield as a result of the soil being healthier. It's a shorter term. Sorry, it's a longer term loss. No, I completely botched that. Is a shorter term loss in exchange for a longer term gain. And so if farmers are willing to give up a short term yield, it's highly likely that they'll be able to get a large return on their investment through that regenerative process. There's still a lot of research out on that. There's not a whole lot of confirmation on whether or not regenerative is actually more productive or more, especially not more profitable than conventional agriculture. But the cool thing with regenerative agriculture is it maintains some of the environmental standards that are often set by like organic agriculture, for example, while maintaining conventional yields. And so that's a process that's been heavily talked about in the agricultural spheres in recent years. You do have quite a few agriculturalists who are kind of on the fence about it. Look at that. Butterfly pollinating. Very cool. You do have quite a few agriculturalists that are on the fence about it. You have quite a few agriculturalists who are in favor of it. It's not something I would say is super widespread, but it is spreading. And even if agricultural operations are not going fully holistic or fully regenerative, they are at least incorporating components of it, even if they don't realize it. And so that's something that I think is really interesting too. 27 iron, we could do better than that. And that's one of the components I find most interesting about it, is that agriculturalists are not necessarily being forced into these methods. Some of the methods are pretty natural for their operations already. Some of them they're already doing, even using things like cover crops that are nitrogen fixers, like clover, or genetically modified cover crops that are both nitrogen fixers and maybe carbon sequestration crops, which means they take carbon out of the atmosphere and put it back into the soil. Those sorts of things are regenerative practices that are incredibly not organic, because they are usually requiring GMOs. There are organic variants, like I said, you can use like clover or other substitutes as nitrogen fixers, but using some of those processes, using some of those practices can maintain healthy soil, which in turn maintains a healthy environment, which in turn maintains healthy agricultural production. don't take that for gospel, because like I said, those things are still kind of out. The jury is still out on a lot of those things, but that's how it would work in theory. And so because of that, because these practices are becoming more common, because there's a lot of debate over the effectiveness of these practices, I'm considering us in the middle of a potential fifth revolution of agriculture, a regenerative or sustainable revolution of agriculture that is in addition to the automated revolution. And the reason why I say it's a fifth revolution instead of just part of the fourth is because while the fourth revolution does have a huge part in this regenerative movement, as a lot of agricultural operations are able to be more sustainable now that they have more advanced technology and automation. Those two are not mutually exclusive. So like you don't necessarily have to have this nicer technology to run a more regenerative operation. In fact, you can run a very regenerative operation without any advanced technology. And the reverse is also true. You can have an incredibly technologically advanced operation and still run regenerative agriculture just the same. Before I run out of breath, the reason why I go into all this is to show that this series is kind of a deep-founded passion of mine. This topic of exploring how agriculture evolves over time is a deep-founded passion of mine that I am taking in very, very small strides with my students to kind of see how they like it, how they adapt to it, and that sort of thing, because I think it's an important conversation to have. There's always the adage of, history is doomed to repeat itself if we don't learn from it, and I think that's true with agriculture as well. If we don't learn from agricultural production, if we don't learn from our previous methods, how are we ever going to maintain more advanced production in the future? I want to know what happened here. I know that at some point there was like a creeper blow up, and that I never fully repaired it, but I need to get back into the process of repairing that. Anyways. Yeah, so it's important to learn these things about agriculture. It's important to understand how agriculture plays a role in all of this, because if we don't learn about how agricultural production has evolved over time, it becomes much more difficult for us to actually maintain effective agricultural production. Am I making sense, or am I just rambling to myself at this point? I feel like I'm just rambling to myself, but you know what? That's okay. Our dog still needs a name. That in there, emeralds in there. We're gonna throw this over here. We can throw the bricks down there, throw all of our coal right there. Actually, let's combine all this into coal blocks. There we go. Okay, nice and easy, 19 coal blocks. And now we gotta sleep. Okay, so let's go. I'm gonna run off and try to find a half decent cave. Yeah, so let's jump cut to that. Okay, I think this actually might be some promise here. As you might have saw from our little fast forward clip there, I kind of wandered around for a bit until we found something. I do remember seeing this while we were going on our mini mining expedition on the outside of the mountain, but we didn't really explore it. So I'm going to grab this copper and then we're going to explore it and see what we can find. Okay, I found a cool little area down here. Anything promising in here? Okay, we have some dripstone. Not a whole lot else, it seems. A lot of copper in here. I actually didn't even check. I should probably check that real quick. Is copper useful in... Let me see here. Okay, so we can turn... what's the use? Okay. Okay, so copper can be used for carbon dioxide sensor, so that's nice. Okay. Copper nuggets, copper knife, which would be kind of nice. A spyglass, obviously, lightning rod. Copper watering can. Okay, that could be useful. We might need to do that. Might be the only thing we have use for right now. I actually do want to make a watering can. Okay, so let's see. So we can make an iron one, a gold one, or a copper one. Okay, so the copper one is the weakest one. So we'll probably make a copper one first. And then there's a couple other items I want to make on here. So there's also a crushing stone. Is this crushing stone? Crushing stone. How do you make you? Okay, flint. And this is used for... Oh, cool. So you can. Oh, that's right. Okay, so crushing stone is useful because you can basically like uncraft things with it, which is super cool. Only certain things, but still it'd be really useful to have. And you can like, apparently you can enchant it. Cool. Okay. So yeah, so the crushing stone is something that's on my list. A trowel is also on my list. What does the trowel do again? A tool to move crops around. Okay, that's actually pretty easy to make. We can make that one when we get back. And then a plant clipper. What is this? Okay. Plant clipper. A tool to clip flowers or leaves of a plant. Okay. That's pretty easy to make, actually. Sweet. And then we can use that to get certain flowers. There are certain seeds. Okay. So there's definitely some tools I wanted to make. I had like a list. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, while I was away on my little hiatus, I've been keeping a record of all the things I wanted to do on this series on a little sticky note on my desk. Well, I haven't looked at that sticky note since I moved into my new apartment, and so now that I've settled down, I looked at it again today, and I was completely lost at half the things I was looking at. But I do have some of these items on this list of things that I wanted to make. And so what I'm guessing that meant was for me to progress to the second revolution, I needed to have some of those tools made. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make some of those tools to round out today's episode because we can. But there is a nice cave system here that I kind of want to explore a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of fast forward through this. You guys will see like the highlights of me finding certain things. But for the most part, I'm just going to kind of zip through here and see what I can find. So I will see you guys in just a minute. Okay, so this is kind of what I was looking for. Just some good ores I could take back home. Nothing crazy. Like, I don't necessarily need diamonds right now, but they'll be nice. But let's go ahead and hop down here. Just see what we can grab. Okay, so we got some gold. We've got some redstone. Not a whole lot of use for that at the moment. The redstone I actually might leave behind for right now because while we do need it, I'm not super pressed for it at the moment because it's not going to be useful for a couple more revolutions. The gold could be pretty useful, so I might grab some gold for right now. I'm mostly looking for iron. That's the biggest thing. I don't see a ton of it. I mean, we have some iron back home. Not a lot, but we have enough to get by for a little bit. I was hoping we can get a little bit more, but let's grab this. Now I will say, mining and spending time in the caves and that sector of agriculture didn't really come about until more of like the closer to the second revolution of agriculture. It was still present during the first, but just not nearly as much. A lot of the, oh geez, that's 2 creepers. Don't want to deal with that. Okay. Yeah, so the second revolution of agriculture is where mining and a lot of the use of like precious metals was a lot more common. Come on, dude. Nope. No. Okay, at least he didn't hurt too bad. Let me eat while the other one comes around. And I'm down here with no armor. Which means this guy can one-shot me if he's close enough, so I need to get out of the way. Oh, I'm stuck, aren't I? I know, I'm good. Maybe. Okay. And I'm just going deeper, which is not good. I mean, I do need to go deeper because I need to find iron. But it's not good because I'm pinning myself here. Okay. Anyways, the second revolution of agriculture is where a lot of the appreciation for precious metals came from. So like the gold, the iron, the copper, all that kind of stuff was a lot more appreciated in the second revolution than the first. And so while we need iron for a lot of the things we're trying to create, really like the use of like, you know, diamonds and mining a bunch and doing all that kind of stuff was not a super common practice during the first revolution. We're only doing it because it's a bit of a necessity to get the building materials we need to move on to the second. But it's not something that is necessary for creating some of the, like, you know, some of the different tools and stuff that we need for the first. So let's... there's not a whole lot here, honestly. This cave's a bit of a bummer, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there's like some decent stuff in here, but not anything all that great. I was really hoping for more iron here, and I've hardly seen any. Oh well. Let's go ahead and head back, and let's get this episode wrapped up. Dang, this is a huge gold vein. Probably one of the bigger ones I've seen in a while. Okay, cool. Alright, let's start making our way back to the surface, wherever that water elevator left. That's not iron, never mind. Okay, yeah, let's start making our way back. See if we can find our old water tower. Is that iron? No, that's gold, isn't it? I hear a skeleton. I see a skeleton. Oh! Skeleton sees me. Okay. Okay, use the stalagmites as cover. Get back up there. I wanted that gold, but it's not worth it right now. I'm not doing too bad, but I don't want to risk it and lose all the stuff that... Is it? I didn't place this. No, this is a lava source that got turned into cobblestone. Got it. Okay. That's actually a good sign, because that might mean we're back where we started, which is good. Yeah, this is back where we started. Sweet. Okay, let me get back up here. Okay, which means that is our water tower. Sweet. Okay. There's really no iron down here. Like, that's such a disappointment. There should be iron around here somewhere, you'd think. I'm just not finding any. More gold. Which, you know, gold's great and all, but, like, I need iron. Like, I would feel a lot more comfortable with, like, a stack of iron. I have, like, 37 iron at home. The slime, that's another creeper. Why are there so many creepers down here? Okay. Okay, I think it's time we call it quits. We run back to the surface and start wrapping the episode up. Not the best mining expedition. Oh! Just as we're getting ready to leave, there's iron right here. We'll grab some lapis for good luck. Grab some iron. 2 pieces, that's it. I go through this entire cave and I only find 4 pieces of iron. What level am I at? 5. Okay, so I'm at like diamond range. Should definitely be finding a lot of iron. And all I'm finding is gold. There's another piece of iron. 1. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna get for right now. Okay, let's start heading back. Where's my water tower? Right there. Hopefully I don't get sniped out of here by a skeleton. Okay. Unless anything exciting happens, I will see you guys back at the house. Okay, so we're back home. We didn't really get a lot of great stuff. I'm not going to lie, it was kind of a letdown of a trip, but, you know, we got some copper, got some more iron, I guess that's good. We got some gold, a lot of gold. So that's pretty good. The rest of this stuff can go in the drops chest. Oh, not the tomatoes, give me those. There. Okay, I'm gonna make one more chest for not a double chest, for the remainder of the stuff that we got, and then we should be all good. I know I said I was gonna go chop some wood. Honestly, I think we're pretty good on wood right now. Like, looking at our chest situation here, we've got a lot of wood to go off of. I think we should be okay to start working on some of the houses. If I need more wood, I might grab some next time, but I think I want to start working on the houses on the next episode. So we'll plan on that. Next episode, we will go and start building out all the houses for the rest of our settlement here, and that'll be kind of the start of our last little section of the first revolution, and then we can start actually, doing stuff. Move on to the Industrial Revolution, start not automating, but mechanizing things, getting some cool stuff. I might add the create mod once we get to that point. We'll kind of see where we go. But for the time being, I think we're in a pretty good position. We're going to go ahead and pause it there. I might do some kind of off-camera collection of resources. I might not. We'll see. I was really hoping this would be a lot more of a productive episode than it was. But this first episode back in a while, I haven't played on this world a whole lot, so I haven't really figured out where all the best spots are. You need to explore out more, but as a first revolution farmer, you don't really explore out much. You kind of want to stay close to your farm, right? So let's end today with a couple things. First of all, we're gonna grab our rake. We're gonna tend to our little small homestead farm out here. Knock down all of our weeds. Okay, and as we're knocking down our weeds, as we like to do towards the end of most episodes, I'll kind of do a lot of our wrap up. After this, we're going to create those tools I was talking about, and once we make all those tools, I just place a torch. Let me get these out of my offhand. Oh no! Okay, so this is actually a good opportunity to talk about this. So, what'll happen in the Agricraft mod is if you have plants and they have weeds in their slot with them, and you don't get rid of the weeds after a little bit of time, it'll actually kill your plants. Okay, which is actually realistic. That's how weeds actually operate in the real world, and not because the weed themselves kills the plant, but because weeds are parasitic to a degree. So they'll actually compete with plants for nutrients, for space, for sunlight, for carbon dioxide, for beneficial insects, all of those things. So these weeds get incredibly annoying because if we don't take them down every day, that's how they kill a lot of our plants. So our crops are actually dying as a result of these weeds not being taken care of. So that's on me. I kind of forgot that we had to be tending to the weeds until I just saw them and how big they got. So we need to be better about that, but I'll make sure that next time I spend a little bit more time taking down the weeds. I'll probably start the episode with that next time just so we can make sure we're on top of it. But yeah, I'll do a little bit more resource collection off screen probably. That way we can get some more wood and that sort of thing, and then we can start working on our actual settlement. So let me plant some more seeds since we lost some of our crop here, and then we will end out the episode by making those little contraptions we were talking about. So let's plant some. Let's diversify a little bit, shall we? Let's plant some. I don't know if we can plant rice or not. We can plant some beetroot. That's fine. We can plant some onions. This one's actually got a little bit of a mutation going on. Or it doesn't, but it's got genetics at least, so we can start crossbreeding. Okay, so let's plant some of those. We'll plant some carrots, because we could always use more carrots. And yeah, we'll stick to that for right now. Okay, then we'll collect the crops that we do have left alive. So the cool thing about Minecraft in general, this isn't even just a modded thing, is if you grow crops kind of catty corner to each other. Maybe I can't plant this rice like this. I can plant the beet. Oh yeah, gotta make beetroot seeds. Am I forgetting how beetroots work? Can you not just make beetroot seeds? Okay, I can plant onions. Why did it take both of my... okay. Confusion. Anyways, back to what I was saying. If you plant these 4 crops, okay, so I have onions, tomatoes, potatoes, and wheat. These are all 4 different crops. If you plant crops that are of different species catty-corner to each other, so like these onions and these potatoes, they will actually cause the other plant that's catty-corner to them to grow faster. Okay, so if you include what we call biodiversity, which is a huge part of agriculture in your operations, and have these crops growing in the same field despite being different species, that's a huge advantage to having your crops growing properly, and it'll actually help you get a lot more bang for your buck in terms of the crops that you're able to grow. And so that's a huge advantage that we're going to try to utilize. That's why I have a very a very diversified farming operation here, because this helps us get a lot more growth out of our crops and help them produce a lot more food, and then we can use that to create the farms for our other settlements that we're going to be building here next episode. Okay, so that wraps that up. Let's go make those contraptions I talked about, and then we should be able to wrap up the episode from there. So what all did I say I wanted to make? I wanted to make... let's throw that back in there, throw that back in there, that back in there. Got pumpkin slice. Torches can go back in there. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to make plant clippers, a trowel, a watering can, and a crushing stone. I should have all the things for all of those, but we're going to need a decent amount of iron. Why do we have charcoal? Anyways, we're going to need some sticks. Probably going to need some more wood. Let us start smelting up this iron. I'll make some sticks. And then once all that iron's done smelting, let's see what we can make first. So the plant clippers are the ones that I was just on. I should have just stayed on them. Okay, so we need shears, iron, and 2 sticks. We might actually be able to make that now. Don't I have shears somewhere? I do. Okay, so we'll take those. And I have some iron in here, so we'll take one of those. And it's like boom, 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 boom. Boom, plant clippers. All right, beautiful. Okay, so that's the first one. Plant clippers are done. Okay, next is going to be the trowel. Okay, so that's 2 iron and a stick. So I can grab these guys. And it's like that and like that. Okay, there's our trowel. Nice. So now we should be able to actually move our crops using the gardening trowel, which is really nice. So if we have any crops that are in a spot that we don't want them to be, we can just move them over instead of having to completely lose the crop. Okay, then we can make our watering can. I need to smelt some copper for this one. Actually, we don't. We can make an iron watering can first. That's fine. We gotta make a bowl though. Let's make our bowl. Grab our iron. Bowl. Oop. Watering can. Okay. Now this says 0 out of 100 diluted bone meal. What is diluted? Okay. Do I just like add bone meal to it? Do I add water? How do I? Okay. Let's play with that in a second. Okay. And then the last thing was a crushing stone. A crushing stone. I think this is just three flint. Yeah. I think I have 3 flint. I have exactly 3 flint. Perfect. Okay, so we have that. Boom, boom, boom. Crushing stone. Ooh, okay, so we got a new advancement. So, recycling device. Cool. That's why I wanted to make the crushing stone, because it's part of the advancements. So I didn't actually anticipate us getting an advancement this episode. I know that was kind of a goal for every episode to get an advancement, but it's a little bit difficult to do, and I haven't really played on this world a whole lot lately. So today was just kind of like, let's get back in the swing of things, but it sounds like making these 4 tools was actually pretty useful for us. So that's good. So let's test these out real quick. So like, for example, let's test out the wandering trader. Do you have anything good for me? Fire coal vines. Okay. And nothing really of interest. Saddle, collar. Nah. Okay. Let's find a flower like this one, and we can use a plant clipper to... No. A tool to clip flowers or leaves of plants. Does it work like shears? Am I misunderstanding what this does? Do I have to use it on my... Hold on. Use... Okay. Do I have to use it on my crops? Or like if I'm like growing flowers? Nothing worth clipping. Okay. I wonder if I have to grow crops in a or if I have to grow flowers in like a plot in a plot of soil, and then it'll let me clip it. Oh, you're invisible. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the plant clippers might have to come back another day. We'll come back to those. Okay, the crushing stone. This is one that'll be kind of fun. So if I do this, that, okay, gives me 1 iron ingot, which is not great, but it's more than I would usually get out of this. And this thing's about to break, so I could take this and now I have an extra iron ingot, and I can just take that guy. Okay, and it takes durability out of the crushing stone. Interesting. Okay, I like the crushing stone a lot. I think the crushing stone's useful. We're gonna put that in there. Why do I have dirt? Oh, I forgot I have egg sandwiches. Nice. Okay, let's sleep real quick, and then we'll test the other 2, and then we will call the episode. I know I've said that like 10 times at this point, but I actually mean it. Okay. Now we can test the gardening trowel. So I cannot reach well. I should. Okay, can I do this one? Yeah, okay. So, oh, cool. So it even tells you all the stats about it. Okay, so that is really cool. Okay, so the gardening trowel is actually be really useful. Sweet. Good to know. Okay, let's harvest these guys real quick while we're here. Beautiful. Okay, and then the last thing is the iron watering can. Do I actually collect water into it, or do I have to put bone meal into it? It sounds like bone meal. What happens if I throw bone meal into water? Is that what it means by diluted bone meal? Where are my bones? Okay, I have some bone meal. Let's test this. Okay, so I have this guy over here. Nope. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Watch out, fish. Okay, that's okay. You can stay there. Interesting. Okay, so we throw the bone meal in the water. Okay. And now we have diluted bone meal. So if we use that on the plants, how does that? Need a plant that doesn't have any weeds. They all have weeds. Dang. Oh shoot, it grows weeds really fast too though. Okay, let me grab my rake. I really just need to keep my rake on me. Or at least make a chest for it out here, or a stand or something. Do I have... I feel like I have a mod that lets me do like tool stands. If I don't, I need to. Okay, these weeds are way too tall for my comfort. I feel like the weeds are growing faster than they were before. There's a way you can fix that. I think like you have to... We're probably not gonna be able to do it until we get to like the 3rd revolution, unfortunately. But if you do certain types of selective breeding, you can crossbreed your weeds to be more resistant, or your crops to be more resistant to weeds, which is also realistic to modern agriculture. So that might have to come in a future evolution. For right now, I think we're just gonna have to rake all of our weeds away, which is unfortunate and tedious. But hey, we're in the 1st revolution of agriculture. What do you expect? Okay, I think that's all good. Let's harvest our wheat, and our potatoes, and our carrots. And I think that is all we can do for the day. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move. I'm gonna put the watering can in here. That's really cool. It's a little situational, but it is very cool. I'm gonna put the potatoes in there with the pumpkin slice. Throw the wheat in there. We should go down there like that. That's fine. Okay. And then the poppy in there. Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah, so we can actually open these back up. I need to start throwing things in these cabinets. I think you can make like a fridge at some point. I'll do that in a later evolution. But I think that is a good stopping point for today. We didn't do a ton, but we did get some good progress made, which I'm pretty happy about. So we're going to end it how we started it in our little chair here. This might be how we start a lot of the episodes, so we'll kind of see. But yeah, so next episode, we're going to actually start building some of those settlements, and I cannot tell you when that episode is going to come out because it might be a little bit. It just depends on how long it takes me to find time to record again. Today was kind of a special day. It is getting ready to be summer break, so I might have time to record a lot more over summer, but we're just going to see. I hope you guys have enjoyed the last couple episodes coming out. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Hope you guys have, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I know that, like I said, my students were suggesting adding the create mod. I might play with that as we get closer to that second revolution. Might add some like shaders or something like that just to make it look a bit more appealing around here. I'm also probably going to add some kind of like tool stand mod so I can have like my rake out there by the crops and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm excited to be back in this series. I'm excited to be able to start recording again as I find more time to do so. I'm excited for all the new adventures that have been coming over the past year, so I'll continue to update you guys on all that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. And don't forget, if you ate today, thank a farmer.